If the fluctuating fortunes of the logistics industry are a reliable gauge for economic conditions, the operational dynamics of the shipping giant Maersk emerge as a crucial indicator of economic development. As we approach the Chongqing 2 sessions, this edition of Global Vision features Jens Eskelund, the chief representative of Maersk Group in China. He will offer us his analysis of the Chinese economy in 2023 and provide insights into the economic outlook in 2024. Furthermore, Mr. Eskelund will share with us his perspectives on the developmental opportunities in the Western region, particularly Chongqing. Now let's delve into this interview. Mr. Eskelund, welcome to Global Vision. Thanks for joining us in the show.
Thanks for having me.
The complex global landscape have presented significant challenges to Maersk's operation in recent years. How do you assess Maersk's operation in China in 2023?
It is correct that, as you say, that it has been some very, very special years that we have gone through in recent years. And you can say that 2023 has been the year of normalization, where the cost of transport normalized, and when also all the bottleneck problems that we have had in shipping and logistics were finally resolved. And that period is now going back to what it was before the pandemic in terms of efficiency and in terms of cost also. I think one thing that has changed definitely is that before the pandemic, everyone was talking about all the time only about cost, reducing transport time, reducing the cost of trade. Right now, companies and people, they realize that you also need to invest in resilience. It's not enough that you just always go for the cheapest price, the fastest delivery, the lowest inventories. You also need to make sure that you have a plan B and perhaps even a plan C if something goes wrong. So what we see now is that a lot of companies now, they have really been having a high focus on trying to see how they can become more resilient and how they can be better prepared if something is going to happen. And that's also one of the things that have been our focus areas in Maersk.
Mr. Eskelund, how have business fared in the Southwest in 2023, and what has business highlights or potential opportunities that have captured your attention?
One thing that we have done specifically is that we have opened a back office facility in Chongqing, where we have a number of employees who are supporting our overall business with the back office operation. And I think we talk a lot about manufacturing, but when you look at Southwest China and when you look at the human resources, there is actually also significant growth potential within the service industries, and that's where we have been looking. There's still some work to do in terms of making sure that Southwestern China is not being disadvantaged because of its geographic location, and that's where we hope that also that we will have a role to play in trying to make logistics more efficient, whether it's transporting to Europe, to North America, and certainly, again, we were just talking about Southeast Asia. This is one of these areas where we see a potential also for further enhancing growth, trade growth with southwestern China.
Chongqing have forged an extensive international logistics network with the new International Land Trade Corridor as its centerpiece. In your opinion, what potentialities can Chongqing unlock for collaborative efforts between Chongqing and Maersk?
We still think that there's a quite significant potential to collaborate, and when we look at sort of the industrial capacity of Chongqing, I think it's well known for everyone in China that Chongqing is an absolutely central industrial city in China. We still think when we look at foreign trade as a share of total manufacturing in Chongqing, that there's still a potential to grow that share. Right now, much of the production in Chongqing today is very much domestically focused. We believe that if we are able to help develop efficient logistics, seamless logistics, transparent logistics, cost-efficient logistics, that might help to grow that share of logistics, and perhaps not least with the ASEAN countries, where you can say that relative to other locations in China, geography is not as much a disadvantage because southwestern China is relatively closer to, for example, countries like such as Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand, and so on.
Well, the shipping industry serves as a critical parameter for global economic development. Considering Maersk's operational status last year, how do you interpret China's economic situation in 2023?
What we have seen in 2023 is that trade is under pressure. Actually, when we look at it from a container perspective, China has performed reasonably well. We don't think that China is going to lose its position as the world's largest exporter by far. And Chinese exports are continuing to perform really well. China moving into new areas, in particular new energy, is a big thing among exports, and in general climbing the value ladder. So I think when it comes to export, China is approaching trade from a position of strength. Where we would like to see a little bit of pickup is on the import side. We have seen that consumption in China is a bit under pressure. So we have seen, and also something that happened during COVID, there's been a very large growth in the imbalance between import and export in container terms. And we hope over time that this is something that is going to become more balanced, when hopefully the Chinese consumer is stepping up and beginning also to spend as the consumer did before the pandemic.
Maersk recently announced an investment exceeding 500 million to fortify supply chain capabilities in Southeast Asia. Could you please elaborate on the strategic considerations behind this move, and how will this affect Maersk's business in China?
We do see going forward significant growth in Southeast Asia, and we do believe also that intra-Asian trade is going to grow ahead of the global average. So it makes a lot of sense also that we continue to invest in the region in Southeast Asia. But I'd like to highlight here also that we continue to invest significantly in China as well. We've had a high focus on developing air transport in China this year. We have committed to establishing a new flagship warehouse in Shanghai. And we have also just recently finalized the acquisition for very big logistics operation, bringing very significant additional warehousing capacity to Maersk in China. So it's not that we are investing in Southeast Asia, in the ASEAN country, at the expense of China. We are actually investing in both locations, and we believe that we are going to see growth in the trade between China and Southeast Asia.
Mr. Eskelund, to be more specific, which area of Maersk's business in China do you see opportunities, and which one concerns you?
Right now, one thing that we have been very excited about, and that's maybe not so much related to trade in itself, but what we are seeing in China is that China has the potential to emerge as a globally leading supplier of green fuel for our ships. Maersk has been a leader in daring to take the step to order green methanol fuel ships, and we believe that China has the potential to become a globally leading supplier of that fuel. And that's of course also very exciting for China, because right now China is importing most of its fuel. The green fuel that we'll be producing in China can be produced in China on basis of resources that are available totally 100% within China itself. So not only can it help China develop a new line of business where China did not have a presence before, but it will actually also help to increase China's energy independence, and it will help China to get closer to the 30-60 decarbonization goals. And at the same time, of course, it will help us to decarbonize our industry. So on that side of the decarbonization side, there's a lot of excitement, and we think that China is going to play a key role going forward.
In 2023, Hangzhou Airport became Maersk's inaugural airport for operating regular cargo flights in China, representing the largest investment in capacity by Maersk in this country. What factors contributed to Maersk's favorable view of Hangzhou?
What was important for us is when you look at the Yangtze River Delta, it is actually today the largest exporting region in China. When you look at total global exports, 1/3 of all exports in the world comes out of China. More than 1/3 of China's export comes out of the Yangtze River Delta. And that means that 1/9 of all exports in the world are actually coming out of the Yangtze River Delta, where Hangzhou also is a part. So, there is a very, very significant catchment area there for trade. And at the same time, we had a local government in Zhejiang province and in Hangzhou that was very, very supportive of our plans. So for us, it was an easy decision to make. It was the right location. The foundation is there in terms of trade, and then we also had a supportive government.
Mr. Eskelund, based on your experience and analysis, what's your outlook for the Chinese economy in 2024?
We hope that 2024 will be a year of recovery, similar to what 2023 have been. I think most people had expected a stronger recovery post-pandemic in China during 2023. We hope that bounce back in the economy, that we begin to see that really in 2024, and it's also affecting the import side. We hope that the slump that we have seen in the property sector, that it will find a bottom, and that will allow a rebalancing in the Chinese economy. We hope that consumer confidence will return and become a driver again for global trade. So I think, in all honesty, 2024 is likely also to be a challenging year in many industries. What we have seen that will help many of the exporters is, of course, that we have seen a normalization in trade, that the bottlenecks have been eradicated, and also that the cost of trade, the freight rates, have come down quite significantly. So at least that would be something that, if you are exporting from China, from Chongqing, is something that maybe should give you a little bit of confidence that at least it's not the transport that would be the bottleneck and hold back, but maybe more underlying demand in the destination of the products that's an issue.